Apparently, as a kid, I had no idea what books were or what cartoons were because this was my first experience with Paddington. Did you grow up with Paddington?
I did, yes. I think he's more well known in the UK than he is here, so there is no shame there. But I definitely did grow up with him. My earliest memory is lying on the living room rug watching the animations. So yeah, I know the character well.
And that must be nice to bring. What was it about Paddington that made you want to bring it to the big screen?
Well, I suppose when my memories of him from like being a child were that he, it was funny and he was a nice character. But then when I became aware there was a sort of film adaptation in the offing, I sort of started thinking more about him. And I think what's so great about Paddington is it's quite a universal story. He's an outsider trying to find his place in a big, scary world. And, we've all been outsiders, even from the age of 3, you know what it is to have a first day at school or playgroup. Or, I remember going to friends' houses where, the fish was different or the toothpaste was a different flavour. And those things are so nerve-wracking. You don't need to be a refugee from halfway around the world to know what it's like to be slightly out of place in a big city. And that journey of finding a home just felt like an amazing story to tell with all of these great comic set pieces along the way.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I went into it thinking that it was going to be a film for kids.
Yeah.
But I was laughing my butt off like 95% of the time.
Hooray.
So for every joke that the kid behind me was laughing at, then in the next scene I was laughing.
Oh, good, yeah.
So how did you find the balance of pleasing the kids and pleasing the adults at the same time?
It really wasn't like a process. We just tried to write a story that we thought would be funny, and I laugh at all of it. I mean, I am biased.
Yeah.
But I just tried to do things that I thought would be funny and hope they find an audience. And it's strange the mixture, and hopefully there's just enough jokes in there that there's something for everyone and that, you enjoy it. But it was never a kind of, oh, well, now we'll put in a kind of fart joke for the kids. It was just we tried to do something funny. Oh, good. It is a good fart joke, but there's one, yeah, good. That's okay.
But it seemed like there were so many lessons and hidden messages in the film. What would you say is the biggest message of the film?
I think it's really about acceptance and people's differences, really, and that seems to be a big global theme throughout history, really, is that, there are lots of different people from different backgrounds and different, characters from different worlds and finding a place for all of them in our hearts and how it can enrich us to fill our lives with people from different backgrounds.
Definitely. I loved Paddington's voice.
Oh, good.
It was charismatic and then had this bear. Like,
I know.
That's like the best way
with amazing little growls.
And I loved his original name.
Yes.
Like that was so great.
Yes.
But there were some adjustments made as far as to who was going to voice Paddington.
Yes.
How was it like to deal with those adjustments?
Well, it was a little tricky. We started working with Colin Firth, who's one of my great heroes, and I always loved in Pride and Prejudice and the Bridget Jones movies, and he's such a great actor. And we did a lot of development of the character with him, but almost from the beginning, he was sort of saying, I'm slightly worried my voice might be a little deep, and I never thought that would be a thing, because Paddington, even though he's from Peru, there's a sort of real Englishness to him. He's sort of almost more English than the English. He's learnt manners from a kind of 1950s gramophone record, so he has a real old worldliness, and he always says Mr. and Mrs. and raises his hat. And I thought Colin would be perfect, but as the character started being animated, it turned out he was right, and his voice was just a little deep and a little manly, and we felt we wanted something a bit lighter and almost more animalistic and kind of slightly stranger. And so it was all very good-natured. I mean, I think had Colin been a young actor whose first break it would have been terrible, but he's one of the world's great actors, so it wasn't like he was going to be short of work, and he felt it wasn't working for him, and we felt it wasn't quite working, and so it was all fine. He phoned me to say, you mustn't worry about this, Paul. It's not like splitting up with a girlfriend. So he's just really sweet and funny about it. And then when we heard Ben, it was just such a match made in heaven. And he sounds, kind of like a woodland creature anyway, so it was perfect.
Ben was definitely a great fan.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Thank you so much for your time. It was great meeting you.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you too.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.